Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on My Divorce Party, starring Rumer Willis, daughter of Bruce, as a woman getting divorced and she's having a big party with all her friends. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 14, available on Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, Rumer is getting a divorce, and I guess she was the breadwinner in the couple, so the judge ordered her to give half her money to her ex-husband, and now she's going to spend a bunch of it so he doesn't get it. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of feels wrong. kind of feels mildly illegal. Kind of feels like you would get sued over that. That your ex would drag it back into court to get the money you blew. But I kind of understand the sentiment on a certain level, being divorced. But in order to make this work, I think you really have to establish that her ex was a jerk. Well, that he didn't need the money, and that he's just a spiteful dude, and you're only doing it to because you sort of have to. But anyhow, she's having a big party to celebrate her divorce with all her friends. Now, on the one hand, her friends are written and directed by Heidi Witzker. I don't recognize anybody else in the movie. Yeah, no, I don't recognize. Man, look at this lettering. Who the hell could read this? These are credits. I don't recognize anybody else in the movie. That doesn't necessarily matter. As always, with a comedy, it just has to be funny. However, Rumer didn't write the movie, but the sensibilities has to land for people. And I'm not so sure it's landing. I'm not really getting a sense of the characters other than they're going to get, their drink on and go way too far. Needs to ground something here. I don't feel anything's grounded in this movie. There's a little, I don't know, there's too much hedonism and not enough character, I would say. If you compare it to the Tom Hanks movie Bachelor Party, right? There were different sorts of guy characters. There was the guy who just wants to party. There was the guy who wants to bang all the girls. There's the innocent groom played by Tom Hanks. A couple different sort of iconic characters within a bachelor party. That's kind of what I think they needed here. This is usually a good trick in writing comedies. You don't have to go too deep with the characters, but you have to make them distinct, right? So it wouldn't take much to make them distinct. Now, maybe they are in the movie. Maybe they just cut that out of the trailer. But the only distinct character here is Rumer, who's getting divorced. And one of her friends who's concerned. But they're all her friends, so they'd all be concerned about her. So you need to distinguish the four friends. One of the friends could be the one who eggs her on, right? The one that, we know you like the party, but she doesn't normally do this. You have to slow down. Of course, the one friend who's the conscience of the group. I don't think we should do this, guys. Another friend who, wants to get with all the guys. Maybe another friend who, I don't know, she's heavyset. She could eat too much. Just give them some basic trait that we can glom onto in the trailer, rather than kind of making them all blend together. Um, I'm even having trouble telling the characters apart because they just kind of blur together a little bit. Like, you keep putting them in different outfits, but one should have a distinct. They should. I don't know these characters, so it's good to give them a distinctive look that they always have, right? So one maybe always has big earrings. One always has a short haircut. One has a long haircut. One's blonde. One's brunette. Like, that's casting. Because in most movies, you don't know these characters, so you want to be able to quick identify them without having to think too much as an audience member. That's why in a screenplay, you don't name characters Toby, Tony, Terry. You make them different names, like, that sound different, that start with different letters. So you name characters Abigail, Bob, Ricky. Those are three distinct names you're not going to confuse. They have different syllables, they start with different names, they have different vowel sounds. But I don't even get the names on these characters, so. But you need that similar idea in look. Now, she, on the right here, seems a little more uptight, so maybe she is the uptight friend. But that should probably come out in virtually every scene she's in and be part of the trailer as well. See, these two girls, they look a little similar to me. So I'm having trouble telling them apart in this shot right here. I really am. I know they're not the same person, but I'm not sure which one's Rumer now. Even here, this shot. That's a terrible shot. I think that's Rumer there. That's a terrible shot of her. I mean, now maybe that's on purpose to make it funnier, but this is the stripper seducing her. Again, not too funny. That's the main problem with it. It's not very funny. It's just a bunch of girls on a tear after her friend gets divorced. You need to ground it in some kind of reality, right? So she's going to get divorced. They're going to party. Okay. I don't know what this is. Why are they tied up? It doesn't really look like they're tied up. It looks like movie tied up. Looks like they could all stand up and pull right out of the rope. So there needs to be something here that's real. I don't know where they are. Are they at Burning Man? Like they're out in the desert shooting this thing. You need to give us something. So since it's a divorce party, and it's Rumer's idea for the party, and she makes a T-shirt with an eggplant that says DP, which is obvious what that means. But she supposedly doesn't know what it's about. Yeah, it's not really coming off as outrageous. If they want to go out into the desert and blow a bunch of money and do a bunch of wild things, doesn't matter. Like, if there's something at stake, like Rumer's job is at stake, right? She's got a big presentation, but she doesn't care because she just got divorced and she's so depressed. She doesn't care if she ever, she gets fired or whatever. Like, that would be something that would be at stake, and then her girlfriends have to keep her on even keel so Monday she could get back and be sober and not lose her job, let's say. Another thing could be that Rumer doesn't initiate the party. She's depressed, and her friends come up with the idea, well, if we spend all your money, then your husband won't get as much, and you can punish them that way. And then maybe they offer to like give her a bunch of money because they're rich or something. Or maybe one of them's rich, and they'll say, we'll spend all your money, and then in 6 months I'll give you money. I'll give you a big pile of money, and you'll be fine. And then they do that, and something happens, right? Either the rich friend, they have a falling out with, and now she spent all her money for nothing, or the judge rules that doesn't matter, she still owes that amount, and they spent all the money for nothing, like something like that, to get them in more trouble. Something needs to be at stake here. There's nothing really at stake here. I mean, maybe these women are already crazy, wild women who do this stuff every other weekend, so maybe they all work in the same place. Part of the problem with Hollywood, I would say, is this. Again, is a bunch of rich people who live there. And not even rich people, but the sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters of the rich who are making these movies. So the plot details I just offered wouldn't even occur to them. Like, oh, they just go out in the desert, and she decides to have a divorce party, and she makes up t-shirts, and they have this wild time, and she has all this money. Like, normal people don't have that. Like, most people I know, yeah, they've got some money, but they have all these restraints. They have kids. A judge would, again, probably say, you can't just spend all your money. I just ordered you to pay him half. If you could just spend it all away, then everybody in a divorce might do that. Again, I understand the sentiments, and for a comedy movie, you could get away with it, but you would have to at least set it up that her husband was a jerk. So there's nothing being set up here. It just feels like they went out into the desert to shoot this crazy movie so they could also have a good time. And on its surface, I don't really have much of a problem with that. I would love to be involved with projects like that. And that's, if you look at some of even old Hollywood, I shouldn't say old Hollywood, but like stuff that was shot in the 80s and 70s, some of those movies were like that. It was a bunch of celebrities that got together with their friends, and they'd shoot some crazy movie, and they'd all make money, and they'd all have a good time, but they were sort of half-assing it. But it was kind of okay because, there would be enough comedy bits in there that it would at least be watchable. This movie looks like it's retreading a lot of old ground. Stuff that has been done in Bridesmaids, Bachelor Party, The Hangover, things like that. Yeah, women are doing it. That makes it less effective. Because women tend not to act this way. Men tend to act this way. Women doing this is more unusual to some extent, or they at least put on the air of being more respectable, and they're not even doing that in the trailer. Right? Like, they don't show up all elegant, ready to have a party, but look nice. They kind of show up ready to get loaded, and immediately they're in a hot tub. And so I don't see women doing it this way. I see them meeting at an elegant hotel and, having a nice dinner, and then the night descends into this madness, which again would give it some amount of contrast. It starts out at an elegant hotel. Rumer's all depressed, and her friends are trying to cheer her up, and then slowly through the night it gets crazier and crazier, and you ramp it up. Here it sounds like you started at 2, you end at a 10. Here it's like they're kind of starting at a 4 or a 5, and they're only going to about an 8. So first act, Rumer is getting divorced. She wants to party with her friends. She made t-shirts. Second act, she tells them that if we spend half or a bunch of my money, then my ex won't get as much, and I'll be sticking it to him So let's figure out ways to spend my money. And they go on a tear. And it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. Third act, I don't know. Didn't really give me enough information. Maybe, you know, she gets back with her ex, which would be kind of funny, kind of unusual, doubtful. Um, Her friends and her have a crisis. She goes too far. Maybe she alienates them. They get into a big fight, but in the end, they make up and they become friends again. That's probably something like that. So yeah, I'm not really seeing much in the way of the trailer here in terms of the structure of the piece. Let's read the write-up. Divorce Zan. Huh? Divorce Zan. I don't know what that means. Do you mean divorce? See, it said something different on the IMDb. I was looking at. No, Divorce Zan. It's not her name in the movie. It's Ren. Divorce Zan gathers her close friends to celebrate her impending split, only to reveal she intends to burn her divorce settlement money and start fresh. Oh, okay. So it's the money she got then. Not sure why she wants to burn all that money. Okay. Again, not really relating to that sentiment. Chaos ensues as each friend has wildly different option to what Zan should do. So it's her settlement that she's burning. Huh. Seems foolish to do that. So not sure why. Yeah, I can't relate to that at all. And that's a problem in a comedy. Now you might say, well, you're a dude. You don't get it. Yeah, maybe. Ladies, you just got a big settlement. I don't know. Let's say it's $100,000. You gonna blow it all in one night with your idiot friends just partying? I mean, might be fun, but might also be a disaster. Wouldn't you tell your friends who just got a big settlement, like, why don't you just keep that money and live on it? You know, don't blow it. You know, maybe buy a new car or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird premise. But does it look funny? Not particularly. Not particularly. Not to me, anyway. You know, Hollywood has spent so many years making outrageous movies where outrageous things happen. They've forgotten how to do the basic stuff. You know? You ground these characters in reality, and then they have somewhere to go. You know? Like, if one of these characters is a nurse, let's say. She's a nurse, and she shows up to the party in her nurse outfit. She just got off of work, but she's a hard partying nurse because she knows all the drugs. Like, that's a fun character. And it grounds it in a sort of reality that even if you're not a nurse, or, you know, you kind of know some nurses maybe, you can kind of see that happening. You know? You know, or she's a nurse, but she's the most unhealthy one of the group. Like, the girl on the left could be the nurse, right? And she's just the most, she's smoking and drinking and eating, like, fried food constantly. Like, that could be a fun character. She's constantly giving people health advice, but she's the most unhealthy unhealthy person on the planet. You know? It just kind of feels like a group of friends got together and shot a movie. Again, I'm not against that. But, you know, back in the day when it was the Gumball Rally and it was Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and Diane Cannon and all these famous celebrities, their celebrity brought you into it a little more. And it was just kind of fun to see a bunch of famous people goof around if you were fans of them. Whereas this, I mean, I sort of know who Rumer Willis is, only because she's the daughter of Bruce Willis. And in fact, because she's the daughter of Bruce Willis, she really needs to bring her A game here to get out from under the shadow of her dad. Yes, her dad was more of an action star, but he did a few comedies too. He was a big movie star. So you got to really give us your A game here because you already had a leg up to even make this movie. Just saying. Just saying. Doesn't mean it can't be a good movie. Doesn't mean it's not a good movie. I'm just not seeing it here in this trailer. Anyhow, that's it for me. Tony D. Oh, would I watch it? Probably not. Probably not. If it was on streaming or something for free, maybe. But I'd have to get a recommendation to consider it. Anyhow, we'll be back with more videos. Oh, I'm doing an event tonight. I got in super late, but there is an event in Somerdale on the White Horse Pike. It's in a spot called Salon 30, and it starts at 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's kind of a late night geek party of some kind. I've never been to it before, so it's very local to me. So I'm going to be there from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. tonight, I guess if it goes that long. So if you're in the South Jersey area, and I'll have my books. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I may just be sitting in a big room full of partying people trying to sell my books. I've done it before. Anyhow, hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.